Welcome back to the Communication Mastery Podcast with me, Mark Burlinson. This is where we unleash the power of understanding so that we can build bridges and not boxes, because we understand that communication is the soil in which teamwork grows. And my heart for you is that every time we meet like this, you grow your ability to connect effectively with others, particularly at work, but also in the community or even in your family. And today I want to talk about an area that's very important in the workplace, and that is diversity and inclusion, because we're a very diverse society, and our history is not kind in the area of diversity and inclusion. We've got a lot of work still to do to be sure that there are no exclusions in our workplaces. And so let's look at fostering inclusion and cultivating diversity within an organization, whether it's a business or a non-profit or a community organization. And effective communication really plays an essential role, a central role in fostering inclusion and cultivating diversity. So here's how we want to do this. And I've got 6 different points for us to think on in this episode. The first is that open communication can really build trust and respect. And building trust and respect is the foundation for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So if there's open and transparent communication, that creates an environment where individuals feel safe to express their thoughts and their ideas. When people feel heard, when people feel respected, that builds trust among diverse team members. So it's important that we create that kind of safety by being open and transparent. And if you're leading the diversity effort or you care deeply about inclusion, you can lead the way in this by being open and transparent yourself, admitting where you don't understand or you need more clarification or you need further information in order to understand someone who's coming from a different community or from a different perspective than yourself. That trust that's built when we learn to be transparent increases and encourages our collaboration with one another. When someone feels that they belong to a team, when someone feels like there's a place for them, then there's this dramatic increase in connection and collaboration. It's essential for an inclusive culture that we research and discover the ways to help each person feel like they are part of what's going on. We do that by also adding the second step, which is to encourage participation. So if I can communicate in a way that encourages you to offer what you have, if I can build a bridge to you that invites you into whatever it is that we're doing, whether it's our business mission or some particular project that we're working on, if I can invite diverse voices to the table, that will ensure that everyone can feel that they can contribute to what we're doing. And when individuals from varied backgrounds feel empowered, when they're invited to share their perspectives, that leads to richer discussions. I've lost count of the times that I've learned something fresh and helpful from somebody who's coming from a very different perspective than my own. And then we can discover innovative solutions to challenges that we face. And it enhances our overall team performance to have those different perspectives. I'm thinking particularly of one of my business clients where we brought together people with very different backgrounds and therefore very different communication styles, helped them to understand each other, and their productivity increased dramatically because they were able to bring out the best in each other. The third step is very important in diversity and inclusion circles, and that is to address misunderstandings. Misunderstandings will happen when you are working your way into this whole minefield of potentially misunderstanding one another. So clear communication is essential for this to grow. And if clear communication resonates with you as the challenge you have, I want to send you back, when you've listened to this episode, go back and listen to episode 4 of this particular series, because that's how we help to clarify misunderstandings arising from cultural differences or varied communication styles. If we have clear communication, that will enable us to build that safe place for people to be different and yet understood. Addressing issues proactively can really reduce conflict. and that promotes a more harmonious work environment. And that's vital for inclusion. There's got to be a harmony. Harmony is different from unity. Unity is where often we're all the same. That's uniformity, excuse me. We want there to be unity, but not uniformity. And harmony is where each instrument is playing its own part, each instrument sounding a different note, but it's all with one score, all with one melody, so that we can hear the full range of the whole orchestra. To do that, like a conductor would with an orchestra, the fourth thing that enables us to grow communication in diversity and inclusion is to highlight diverse perspectives. So when I value diverse perspectives, then there can be a broader understanding of issues and of challenges. It acknowledges that different backgrounds lead to different insights. And if I'm learning to look for what do you have to offer, what can you bring to our discussion, what skill might you bring to the challenge we face, or what experience have you had that the rest of us have not had that we can learn from? Bringing those insights into the mix enhances problem solving. It validates all of the team members. It makes their experiences valuable, so they feel valued, and therefore they feel included. Inclusion grows when we look for diversity. Who disagrees with what we're talking about right now? Give us the benefit of your perspective. Who thinks that we may be going in the wrong direction? Tell us why. Help us learn. Give us feedback. The fifth area that's essential for diversity to flourish is to promote empathy. Effective communicators are often able to practice empathy by active listening and by seeking to understand other people's viewpoints, other people's experiences. And again, episode 4 would be a great one to listen to, but also episode 11, the previous episode to this, talks a lot about empathy and how to grow that skill that we can connect on an emotional level with others who are different from us, because that fosters a culture of support and inclusivity, because individuals feel like their experience, their embodiment of unique experience is acknowledged, it's appreciated, it's valued, and it has something to offer to our common goals. And then finally, we want to facilitate learning and growth. As I think about some of the strongest diversity and inclusion settings that I've worked in, it's the open lines of communication that really facilitate learning and growth. It creates opportunities for sharing knowledge, for valuing experiences that are different. The cultural insights from different team members who've had different cultural backgrounds is invaluable for us to grow a team that's strong. I often emphasize to my clients that differences will become strengths if we'll allow them to. But if we hold on to our differences and only focus on those and don't do the steps we've talked about today, then differences will become divisions, and divisions will always become obstacles. So that continual learning environment of facilitating learning, facilitating growth, helps individuals to grow in their understanding of others who are different, helps them to grow their understanding of diversity and increase their value for inclusion. It doesn't come naturally to us. We tend to think of me, myself, and I, or us four and no more. But actually, we all grow when we seek to embrace and include others who are different from us. That ultimately strengthens the organization's culture, and it improves our propulsion, our motivation, our momentum towards our mission and our goal. Everyone has something to give. Everyone has something to contribute. And until we can include all of those perspectives, we're always going to be missing something of what we need to reach the goal effectively and fully. So we want to strengthen your organization's culture by helping you to grow your communication mastery, by helping you to embrace diversity, to understand techniques for improving inclusion. And so I trust this has been helpful to you. Your communication mastery really matters to me. It's why I do what I do. And it's why we gather like this each week for these short episodes on communication mastery in our podcast. So you can always ask me questions. What has come to mind today from what we've talked about? Raise a question, give me feedback. Go to my website at markburlinson.com and click on the contact form and send me those questions, send me that feedback so that we can include your input in future episodes. And help someone else today as well. Who do you know who would benefit from what we've talked about in this episode? Text them a link to this episode and say, hey, I think you'd find this valuable in the situation that you're facing or the challenge that you're overcoming. And then you will get the benefit of having helped somebody else. They will get the benefit of hearing what we've talked about together. And we will all get the benefit of gaining a new listener for the podcast. So thank you for doing that. And we'll see you back here next week.